Vale. ¿Estás sonando el eco, po? A ver. Ahora. A ver.
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the magic troupe, the seats were all booked in advance. So we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work. The magic troupe members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievance. Simply put, she wasn't related to the magic troupe at all.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of a...
Okay then.
I don't need to be so formal. If you do happen to... It is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom of these disappearances.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different materials. Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something was made with that... Wait! Why don't you write all this down?
Ah, no, estás aleatoria esto, no.
The investigation team has some new findings.
See, I told you. What if the machine picks...
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken...
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in other words. Linny knew who would be sitting where from the...
That much checks out.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Even though it's back.
Lenny's still talking to the guards. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later.
Entonces ir dando y que te salga, ya está.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you.
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns.
Well, you're right on the more about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating
Oh, no.
disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
Oye, que no está americano.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs are under my purview.
Una pastillita. Alto, eso. Carapera.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the names?
Well, I am the second generation president. Malus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway.
¿Qué? ¡El tapón! ¿Eh? ¿Que viene por detrás el enano?
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest, judging from the look of things, I find...
Really? We think so too. That's why we're looking for... But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive... But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing... Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And...
Sounds more like you just don't...
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times. All right, I've answered your question.
Wait a minute. Did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an...
Well?
And why would that be? See, Silver and Malus?
Most astute of you, demoiselle. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, then if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Malus. Anyway, now, I need to make some preparations, following which...
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure.
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that, demoiselle, you wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the
You have a point. And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got some...
I have nothing to add.
Oh, alrighty then.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Lenny's...
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit.
No, we're not leaving. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone cut. So the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity.
How can you be so sure?
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance, I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was but still, I did not abandon my post. And I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say... Alright, thank you for your help.
I see that you're investigating the area. If you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis?
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lenny's trick with bated breath. So no one...
That makes...
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lenny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, and when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the...
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard too loud for...
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a Oh, that's true.
That does remind Paimon...
De trabalho.
We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Lenny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting
Elimina las
interesting,
pruebas.
huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Todo será las pruebas, todo. Todo arde.
Jumpy Dumpty Go!
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
You've arrived. Who's this? Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and will be helping investigate this whole
Maldita
situation.
corta. Falta muy corta. A ver, estoy... Que no se le ve la cosita de milagro.
And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Weren't there balloons and other decorations?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door?
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's...
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you... The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the...
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box...
I see. So that's the purpose of...
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out...
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel.
And what about Lynette?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box.
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only...
So that's how it all worked! Wow! Every detail you revealed...
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel, and then I walk out of the other box in the audience area. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic... Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some...
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Todo esto lo están apuntando por algo.
like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick.
Whatever it is, let's make...
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
El tío pilla la tía y me echa el otro dentro para que no se le pierda. Ya está.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh, hi, my nose! It's one of those tricks where you... And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the...
That can't be. The trolley moved.
Let's note...
La tira el tío.
Oh, these are the clothes. Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapped? Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Hace 2 segundos no tenías los cristales.
What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this...
Alone, perhaps. But
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes. Let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malouse returns.
apologies for the wait,
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during...
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in the...
The plot thickens. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points...
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld.
Charges and then trial. So if the...
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice... That's right. This is how the statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimony. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own will.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this...
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final... Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides?
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judge. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that...
Huh? What?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties. Or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, It could prove problematic if we happen to spread.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a...
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over...
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like... Just kidding! Just kidding! Paimon will still do her best.
Hmm? What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks.
Huh?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Yo si no me toca para batalla.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
Por si yo no irlo a la chistera, porque
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the... From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have them, but you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating...
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip... Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need... Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the oven.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind. No need for concern.
All right, then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of... However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any...
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between hulls, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her... Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to...
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real...
True. None of the clues we found, but the only people left to consider are...
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to...
That's right. And even if she had tampered with it, nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never...
Were we not thorough enough? From the sound of things, this is turning into an Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and super sweet!
They are my specialty, after all.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets...
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how... Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into...
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too loose. Set up the stove again if you...
Huh? What?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble...
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Well, this really...
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest it would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on...
Alright, thanks for your help, and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to...
Here, take Paimon's notes.
They should help you review the situation. Whoever the murderer was, they must have made preparations well beforehand. Whoever the murderer was, they must have made this rope was obviously tampered with. People needed to register and reserve a... This is probably a prop, too. Oh, looks like it could hook onto a lot of things. Like the... People needed to register and reserve a seat for the... Paimon doesn't get this at all. You think about it for a bit, Why would it be him? How strange. Gosh, no wonder the serial disappearances never got solved. We all heard that noise, didn't we? The performance would not have been visible from where the door... Well, there was no chance, and that's why only the two of them can perform this trick. There was no third person. And Paimon didn't eat more than 3 digging a tunnel just for a magic trick? That size wouldn't have been a problem for Paimon.
Está trabado.
Just relax. Even if everyone else is... Besides, I doubt Farina understands any...
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your...
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were...
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that that was to be expected, of course. The guilt, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you,
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show... Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, Could we please have Mr.
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on...
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stand.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady...
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact...
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I...
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those be...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the... Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my found... Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like...
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all...
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny. Why didn't you...
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me first. When the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Are these claims true? Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it.
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to this.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys.
Order! Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after... In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a...
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig... I'm sorry, Traveler.
Yeah. Paimon doesn't know where to start. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't, not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different...
Right now, we want to save people. As many as...
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, you met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am...
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the object...
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which...
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel, specifically to
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached... Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreat. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. But the count... After that, the homicide occurred...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know...
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole... It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud, but like I said earlier, you can be the judge.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty bad. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a serious... Huh? La la la.
C'est parti.
These bombs, so heavy. Cleo is a brave girl today. I found a really weird-looking lizard. Want me to show it to you?
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us... When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention... stage. Let's revisit that scene from Linny's perspective. As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone, and finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent others from At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught. So Linny proceeded to knock afterward. Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What?
Venga, sí. Ay, por favor, ¿cómo es? Ay, por Dios. Está buscando la tontería.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He...
Ay, por favor.
Seem...
Le tengo que le dan y ya está, todo por poco.
Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's... Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only...
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has... When the countdown started, Linny did indeed, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been... And the crime scene had already developed by the time he Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the... Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to...
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right! that what you say is true. Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance.
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him!
Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic... You're saying that he wasn't.
Eh? Yo qué sé. Voy a elegir una cosa aleatoria.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box. This means that when the crime happened, Linny had the same clue you used to disprove his alibi has never...
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Por favor. Qué pesadez.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Could there have been a third person involved? Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Could there have been a third? The deceased's name is Cowell.
Seleccionar como un gilipollas.
That can't be right. Are you serious?
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Venga. ¿Qué seleccionar? Yo no sé.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny and... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So, it would have been tough for both people to fit into... No one entered or left the... Halsey's clothing was in the... It would have been tough for both people to... Linny was not in the tunnel at that... Linny was not in the tunnel... No one entered or left the opera house through it. The sound we heard may have come from a... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both people to fit in. The sound we heard may have come from a... The sound we heard may have come from... No one entered or left the opera house through its entrance. Linny was not in the tunnel at... The sound we heard may have come from... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would like... The sound we heard may have come from a... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both people to...
Pues eso te desafío.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble
I see how it is.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not just like the trick as it transpired, the end...
If only we knew how Halsey
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clock. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. The vase was not broken by chance.
No está decepcionante.
from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving. If there's a similar method.
Oh, just a moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic. Must we real magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and
Even so, I trust the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword, one of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely, as such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving...
Could something so ridiculous actually...
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? Wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Guards, please continue examining the item. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the...
Of course. Thank you. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case is...
Right! Like the metal hook! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
His name is Cowell. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. The water from the primordial sea... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. Lynette was in the magic box on... I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, now it seems like the hook rope... Lynette was in the magic box on... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. Now it seems like the hook rope was... The rope that strung the water tank... There was something... Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire... I remember there was something...
It's Ace Detect in the original plan. Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope, and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water, but he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confused...
dear. What do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered... I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny...
What?
That can't be. Does this not clear? My dear citizens, my loyal... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice capped that upon his return in cruel avarice. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up all now. As much as I regret having come to such a viciously straight... Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end?
Oh no! I can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good.
I think we've all seen enough now. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice. Excuse me, everyone, but I must...
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared... What in the world is...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth, but once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to... Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave...
I understand.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I
was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin?
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. And I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller. But I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the...
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a...
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire
Solo ahí está. No, acabo de consumir todas. Pero no pasa nada. Madre mía. Pero que no hay opciones.
The base was not broken to cover anything up. The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian. Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect. He tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian, with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the... She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the...
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped two of...
At this point, all the other...
Ah, so that's...
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you... Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may...
What? Are you reading my mind? No. I have no further arguments.
Wow! Look at that!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim with some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-select to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the map. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the Opera House, and was thus... From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude... While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories.
There's issue is okay.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation. How did you find the water from the primordial sea?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but... I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a...
I was just following. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become... Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you...
Yes! I'll tell you, our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to... We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were all...
And now he can no longer...
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now, but still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the... That was how Father, who you might know as the Name, approached recruiting us back then too. since we're here, back when our parents first died, Lynette and I, to survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and
So you went from orphans to nobility?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took a while for me to realize. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift.
Oh no. So he... But what in Fontaine's...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. And I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and hurried through. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood.
So, she'd already taken care of...
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even the knave, might have seen some. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will I was hesitant to trust her. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtained.
So, she believes that...
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis.
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best.
Bye, Linny! These bombs, so heavy. Do you want to come fish blasting with me? I'll get grounded for a whole day, but it's way worth it because the fish taste so boing boing boom!
Right.